Alright, got another interesting video for you again today. I'm just going to cover a few news articles that stuck out to me, a couple things going on around the crypto space right now. But more importantly, I want to talk about potentially using crypto lending as your quote unquote exit strategy. Alright, so I'll get into that here shortly. But first and foremost, Maduro claims crypto will play a role in fighting sanctions against Venezuela. President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, says that the country's government is now looking at diverse cryptocurrencies as a potential way of avoiding sanctions. On September 29th, Maduro presented a new bill that intends to help the country overcome the impact of U.S. sanctions. The anti-sanctions bill is the first response to give new strength to the use of petro and other cryptocurrencies, national and global, in domestic and foreign trade, so that all cryptocurrencies of the world, state and private, could be used. This is an important project that is under development. Alright, I really only wanted to talk about this briefly because I think it's obvious that we're moving in a direction where countries are going to continue to use crypto to fight sanctions. And I think the United States governments and world leaders are well aware of this. And, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some deals being made or discussed behind the scenes to involve crypto, ultimately to bring us to that level playing field that everyone talks about, right? If you're in the XRP community, you've definitely heard it over and over, level playing field. And I think it's because of stuff like this. We're going to have to get to a point where countries are kind of all on the same level, right? Agreeing to the new rules being laid out, all right? But I also wanted to talk about this article because it reminded me of this. So, no internet, no problem. Venezuela gets Bitcoin satellite node. All right, so I'm just going to read the in brief. Venezuela deployed its first Bitcoin satellite node. It allows for a node on the ground to receive Bitcoin transaction details from a Blockstream satellite without internet. And last but not least, Venezuela has poor internet connectivity. So I've talked a lot already up to this point about the World Economic Forum, part of the Great Reset and so on, is getting more internet infrastructure built out that will connect everyone around the world. As of now, it's about only half of the global population has internet. So if you want to add financial services and so on to people around the world, you're going to have to build out the internet first. So, but I wanted to talk about this article as well, because there you go. Now you have an argument for your friends and family when they say, what about if the internet goes down? You can't use crypto because what about if the internet goes down? Well, there's already solutions for that. You can obviously you can do these Bitcoin transactions via satellite. To my understanding, you can also use radio waves or SMS text messages to send Bitcoin transactions. So there's plenty of ways to do it. We're in that developmental stage, the experimental stage, where we're discovering new technologies that can allow us to do so. But ultimately, the solutions are there. It's just going to come down to picking the best ones. So when your friend that you're telling about Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum is the new future of money, they're going to always say, well, what about if the internet goes down? Here's your response. So there's that. Next up, afraid of DeFi. Here's how to earn 41% APY on Bitcoin without wrapping it. So the number of investors interested in yield farming has grown immensely over the past 6 months as decentralized finance applications became better known and easier to use. This has led to an uncountable number of liquidity pools offering annual percentage yields surpassing 1,000%, and the total value locked in DeFi contracts has risen to billions of dollars. So this entire article is not about DeFi really. It's actually about teaching you how to use a covered call strategy, which is basically owning the asset while simultaneously selling call options. So I'm not going to get into detail with that very much, although think it's funny that they talk about a covered call option that yields you 6% return in 2 months, and then that's how they title the article 41% annual. Well, this is just one covered call option. You can't just repetitively do it over and over and over. So I don't see why they would even put that it would be equivalent to 41% annually. But anyway, that's off topic. What I really wanted to talk about is the centralized services such as Bitfinex, Poloniex, BlockFi, and Nexo, typically yielding 5 to 10% per year for BTC and stablecoin deposits. Increasing your payout, one needs to seek higher risk, which does not necessarily mean a less known exchange or intermediary. All right. Before I get into that, 1,000% annual yields because of liquidity pools is a Ponzi. If you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Anyone that has any kind of financial education knows that you're not just going to consistently hit 1,000% returns on anything, because that just doesn't make sense at all. So, being able to filter through the garbage versus what will prosper in the end is key. So, if you're expecting to get 1,000% or even 41% annual returns consistently, think again. The reason these returns are so high is because there's no liquidity and there's arbitrage and the yield farming and so on, but that's not sustainable in my opinion. All right, so adding to the Bitfinex stuff. So Bitfinex will offer 6.2% interest on 3 popular coins. According to a September 30th announcement, Bitcoin and Ethereum holders are now eligible to earn up to 6.2 annual percentage yield through a partnership with Celsius Network, while XRP holders can earn up to 4.91%. The lending platform, which currently has more than 1 billion in coins from roughly 150,000 users, said it would allow interest on the tokens to be accrued daily with rewards paid in weekly intervals. All right, this is important because what I'm going to talk about, it segues into exit strategy. So this is more realistic, guys. In the future, I don't know if it's going to be Bitfinex. I don't really trust that exchange or any of these exchanges. I would rather do one such as Kraken, who now has a banking license and is going to have to abide by banking regulations and having insurance for clients' funds and so on. But anyway, I'm waiting for this all to unfold. Eventually, I think that I will lean towards this lending area for my exit strategy. All right, so I've talked before about how I wanted to do some real estate investing. I'm not just going to go all in on real estate. I really do look forward to the day where I would be able to lend my crypto on a trusted platform. I just don't think we're there yet. I want to see this all unfold first. And the bright side is it doesn't really matter because it's going to take time to get those more established platforms. But right now we need time anyway for these assets to appreciate in value, so it actually matters how much you have and how much you can lend it for. All right, so I just took the XRP lending rate that they provided us with 4.91%. And I wanted to show you what that actually looks like when you compound it over time. All right, so very simple compound structure here, just showing you annually what it would look like over time. So, but anyway, I gave a price target of XRP, let's say it hit $25. Who knows how high it's going to go? It could go to $10, 25, 50, 100, 1,000, whatever your outrageous number is that you expect. I think 25 is realistic, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it there within, a year or two, personally. All right, but anyway, so if you had 10,000 XRP and it gets to $25, $250,000 in value. All right, but if you are earning 4.91% lending that and doing absolutely nothing, let's keep in mind too, XRP I think is going to be a stable coin. So you're not going to see crazy price fluctuations down the line. I think there is a lot of signs pointing towards its design intended to be a stable coin. That's a different topic, but it also makes sense that they're offering lower yields on XRP than Bitcoin and Ethereum because of its stability. But anyway, also off topic. Okay, so 250,000, you take that 4.91% yield, you're going to get about 12,275 in interest earned annually on that nice size crypto bag there. Year in, you would have roughly $262,000. All right. If you took that same number and you just compounded it for 10 years straight at the same return rate, which is a fair rate to begin with, these are the numbers. Year two, 275,000, 288, 302, 317, 333, 349, and so on. 10 years, you'd have $403,000 worth of XRP, and that is if it just sat at the exact dollar figure that it's at in the valuation at 25 bucks. So if there's any appreciation there, obviously it's going to go up with that as well. All right, same thing. If you have 100,000 XRP, 25 bucks. 1 year, your first year, you get $122,000 worth of interest accrued. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. So instead of, going all in on housing or all in on this or that, you could just not sell at all and not have that, create that taxable event, and you could just lend, and you could sit even on this, $2.5 million at 4.91% annually, nets you over six figures. So you're making more than some of the highest paid professions in existence, and all you're doing is lending your XRP at a very friendly 4.91%. That's you could definitely expect to get somewhere in that ballpark consistently. So that's a lot of money. $122,000 a year in interest. That's also passive income. That's going to be taxed differently as well. But overall, you can see where I'm going with this. Instead of buying houses or anything like that, it might be interesting to consider lending over time. And also, if you weren't living off the money or doing something else with it, you can see over time your net worth is just going to continue to appreciate. So have over $4 million in assets by year 10. And also, one thing to note, a lot of people just don't know this, but the more money you have in assets, the more you can borrow against it. So if you have $4 million in assets sitting on, it could be Charles Schwab that you have your XRP on. By year 10, guaranteed XRP is going to be there on Charles Schwab. But anyway, so you could have a margin account where you're open, you're lending against it, and you also, so you're able to just borrow cash. If you see a great investment out there on the street, oh, cool, let me borrow against the 4 million in XRP I have. Flip this property that I found that's way undervalued. Say you found a home that is worth $200,000 and it's selling for $150,000. Borrow the money, go buy the house, and you make 50 grand as soon as you're done settling all the paperwork. And that is what these wealthy people do. Okay, they are playing the game of finance out there, and a lot of people just don't know that this is how money works, but it is. So once you get up into this level of finance, there's a lot you can do with the money. So don't panic if you ever get to this level. Don't panic and think, oh, I gotta sell, I gotta do something. I gotta lock these gains. Think about it. There might be other options out there. So I really just wanted to point that out for you. All right. Another article I wanted to talk about. Crypto and blockchain won't catch on until they're actually useful. A perennial question surrounding blockchain technology is, when will it make a mainstream impact? Understandably, enthusiasts in the industry are anxious to see this technology live up to its promise of empowering consumers, accelerating cross-border payments, and bridging the financial inclusion gap for the under and unbanked. The reality is that today its scope is limited. From what little data we have available about cryptocurrency adoption, we see that the pool of active users is relatively small in size and scope, largely millennial and largely male. All right. first thing that comes to mind for me with this article is just that it's incorrect, right? So it won't catch on until they're actually useful. Crypto is already useful. It's being held back by regulations and just the green light. All right, there will be a time very soon, I think next year actually, when crypto finally gets the mainstream adoption green light, and that's when you're going to see the floodgates open, right? They're going to start blasting TV with commercials. You're going to see it on social media. You're going to see this thing blow up eventually, and that is the go signal into mainstream media and popularity. So we're not waiting on them being actually useful. They are. We're waiting on the powers that be to tell us it's time. That's what we're waiting on. All right. And I wanted to say, segueing off of that, if you come through here on CoinMarketCap, just go down the list, think, okay, which one of these are actually useful? What are they solving? And what issues are there to solve to begin with? What can blockchain help with? All right, so 25 blockchain applications and real-world use cases disrupting the status quo. All right, what are 12 prominent blockchain applications? Secure sharing of medical data. For me, I think this one might end up being more of a private blockchain. Music royalties, cross-border payments. All right, what comes to mind with cross-border payments? Probably only two, right? XRP and Stellar. All right, so when you come down to all these prominent uses and applications of blockchain, which projects are leading the way in each one? So XRP and Stellar are dominating the cross-border payments. Good luck trying to infiltrate that. I think they got that one covered. It's definitely not Bitcoin. All right, it's too slow. It doesn't work. All right, what else we got? Real-time IoT operating systems. Okay, so this makes me think of Elastos right away. I think Quant might fall into some kind of category there too. I know it's the Overledger is an operating system connecting blockchains and legacy systems. But anyway, all right, so just going down the list, cross-border payments, XRP, Stellar, operating system, first thing that comes to mind for me, Elastos. Personal identity security. I mean, this could be built on any trusted platform over time. That one would probably also be private, though, I would guess. Medical data, personal identity. Anti-money laundering. So this would apply to anything and everything. If money is being moved all around the world using one or a few public ledgers, it's going to have that anti-money laundering built in. Supply chain and logistics. First thing that comes to mind there, VeChain. I'm sure you guys thought the same thing. Maybe not. Voting mechanism. This one is perfect because I think that the election going on in the United States right now is going to be the reason we move to a digital blockchain-based voting system. So I can already see it just with the debate yesterday. They went on and on and on about how all these mail-in votes could last into a week, 2 weeks after the actual election day when they're still supposedly counting them. So I could see them just dragging this thing out like crazy. You could have one guy is chosen as the winner. Maybe it's Biden. Biden's the winner. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's recount it 2 weeks later. No, Trump actually is. You could see some drama like that. But ultimately, in the end, it's going to be that problem, reaction, solution. Problem, mail-in voting doesn't work. Voting in person isn't safe because of COVID. We need to vote online. Oh, how are we going to do that? Well, we have this new blockchain system coming out. So it's pretty obvious to me. What else we got? Original content creation. So that makes me think of non-fungible tokens, which can be launched on any kind of tokenized platform in reality. But digital art, things like that will definitely take off. Also, non-fungible tokens in gaming. I can see that being massive. I'm not a huge gamer from that aspect, but I do know people who are, and I can definitely see them being excited about, getting that one rare sword that literally nobody can have, right? And then you can go online and have this blockchain system where you can sell that sword, and you could earn it, you could acquire it and sell it for thousands of dollars. People pay stuff like that in these video games. Might sound crazy to you. but there's definitely a market for it. So real estate processing, yeah, I don't know, whatever. So you get it. Come through here, pick the winners. I think that there's already, they already stick out to me. The ones that are going to win are already sticking out. This is why I always come back to XRP, Stellar. They have an actual target market, and they have built the right crypto and blockchain system to target that market. Right? It's fast, it's cheap, it's efficient, and they executed it. What other ones out there have identified a market and zoned in on it and built the product to deliver it? Not many, right? So that's why I always come back to this one right here, XRP. All right, moving on. A few more things for you. Pompliano with another ignorant tweet. I like to share these. Reminder, Bitcoin is how you opt out of this nonsense. So I'm sure this was in reference to the election. So somehow Bitcoin saves us from having to decide between Biden or Trump, I guess. I don't know how that works. This is just silly stuff, because if any amount of actual population around the world tried to use Bitcoin on a daily basis, it would not function. It would blow up. It would be so congested. It would take 2-3. It would take longer than Swift to process some transactions. All right, and that's sad. But also the fees would go up. So no, Bitcoin is not how you opt out of this nonsense. But who am I to say? Pompliano's the winner, right? He's winning. He's killing it. Now he's partnering up with the TikTok kid, Bryce Hall, 21-year-old Bryce Hall. They launched this podcast called Capital University. All right. Not much else to say here. They're doing a podcast. I guess they're going to make it about financial education, I guess, for the millennial generation, I guess you would say. But the main thing to know here is this guy has, supposedly around 21 million followers collectively. So that's going to be a lot of people to onboard and bring interest into crypto. So could be good for the market as a whole. But Pomp also tweeted this out. Bang, bang. Bryce Hall and I launched yesterday, and we are now the #1 business podcast in the world. So they are trending, right? Everyone's watching Capital or listening to Capital University. All right. That's about all I got for you, other than, Pompliano's out there giving everyone their financial education he thinks they need. He's teaching them how Bitcoin is going to fix the election somehow. And look at his very well thought out investment fund at Morgan Creek that he's responsible for, I believe. Yep, there he is. So you can tell they thought really hard about what to include in their portfolio, right? They were like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, EOS, Cardano, Tezos, Zcash, Cosmos, Dash. So it looks to me like they just went through and bought the ones with the most popular names. Or maybe went down the top. They went down the top 10 and they just skipped XRP is what they really did. All right, and Binance Coin and Polkadot, but Polkadot was airdropped to number 7 apparently. Didn't spend any time in the market. It just got airdropped at a $3.7 billion market cap. So, all right, couple things in crypto, a lot of bullshit and things that will get filtered out, in my opinion, down the road. All right, but that about wraps it up. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The Cashless Society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The Cashless Society, the Cashless Society.
The Cashless Society.
The Cashless Society is now approaching.
The Cashless Society.